You are listening to an entertainment program put together by a company called Financial Ineptitude. Anything said on this show is not an endorsement or professional advice. Would you really want to tell a court of law you were suing us because you thought taking financial advice from two idiots on a podcast put out by Financial Ineptitude was a good idea? Really? Clown hat smiley face. Well, hello everybody and welcome to the China Shop. Shopkeeper Dan is out this week, so What the Finance host Anthony Fatseas is here to do battle and see who gets to sit in his chair this week. How you doing, Anthony? You all limbered up, ready to go?
Not at all.
I'll let
you. Be great.
Yeah, you can use the first news segments and stuff to get limbered up. We'll do battle at the end.
Okay, thank you for being so kind.
Yeah, it's like that scene in Princess Bride. Like, are you ready? No, okay, take your time. It's okay. We'll fight to the death in a minute.
Putting off the inevitable.
Right.
Making me sweat.
Oh, come on into the shop with us today as we sit back, relax, hedge against the rage machine as I try not to butcher the fine script that Dan has put together here. Welcome to any new listeners just joining us. We're smashing our way through a complete set of fine china, sharing our ever-growing strategies for trying to maximize gains and cut losses. If you are new to the shop and stock trading in general, you can always check out our knowledge and resource centers on financialineptitude.com. You can give one of our many beginning trading episodes a listen, or you can even check out the guest directory or mini-series pages to browse through our amazing back catalog. All those links will be in the episode description. Best place to be is the Discord server. On there every day, doing all kinds of fun stuff, looking at charts. We got M-period challenges. We do have prizes to give away for those now. It's an awesome place. And if you still join, there is swag to give away. So shoot me a message, DM me, let me have your address. I will send it to you so you can smash something yourself. All right. Do you have any show news? That's what Dan asked me. That's not how I'm supposed to do that. Anthony.
Do you have any show news?
Well, I was going to ask you for what's going on in your world. What's going on with What the Finance?
Not too much. Just trying to push it up to 3 interviews a week, which has been a massive struggle. But I'm enjoying it. I'm speaking to so many different people, and yeah, just keep it coming, basically.
3 is a lot, man. You had any good guests recently?
Let me have a look. So many, it's challenging. I had the pleasure of speaking to David Rosenberg. He's quite well known, and it's a bit of a perma bull, perma bear. Sorry, not a perma bull, perma bear. So everything's going to collapse.
Right.
And I think it's not too much confidence from a lot of the people I've talked to about what is happening in the world. Michael Green, Ted Oakley, a lot of them are saying recession. Some are saying societal collapse. I probably don't agree with that. But,
societal collapse? What?
Yeah, I know. I speak to some people with all different opinions. But
okay, if society is going to collapse, then the markets don't matter. Then why even talk about them?
No, exactly.
Go out and buy bullets because that's going to be the new currency.
But that's a very American thing to say.
I know.
We can't even buy bullets over here. What do we do?
Can I send you some, or is that illegal?
It's probably illegal.
Probably. All right. I can send you the parts. All right. Okay. Let's see. How does this go? We've got I need 3 adjectives, preferably alliterative, to describe today's show. Something like confused, chaotic, incongruent. It's close enough, I think.
Is that a Harry Potter thing?
That's the show we've got for you today, folks. Plenty of market-moving news, lots of stocks on the radar, and brighter futures than Apple, iPhones, and the Chinese government. How about that? That's topical, right?
The Chinese housing market's looking very bright.
Brighter futures than the Chinese housing market. Much better. And also reach out to us. We love your messages, comments on Twitter and Facebook, on our Discord. All those links again in the episode description. If you're old school, just send us an email to 2bulls@financialineptitude. That's the number 2. Maybe you got a hot stock tip. Maybe you want to tell us about a great trade you just made. Or maybe you finally worked up the courage to propose to your reporter girlfriend after she returned from an overseas work trip, but she spurned you for the, quote, work colleague that she decided to bring back to New York. It doesn't matter. We just love it when you reach out.
Is that from personal experience or?
No, that's the movie reference.
It's a movie reference.
Yeah. I'll tell you off air if you don't get it. It should be in your wheelhouse.
Okay.
Although you are younger, though, right?
My head is like steaming. I'm always
Too much stuff going on.
yeah. I played this game at work the other day where it was people trying to explain to you like a word without saying the word, and yeah, I'm just always horrible with
Oh
these
god,
things. So
try describing a taste without saying the thing. Like try to describe
yeah,
salty to somebody without using that word.
exactly. So they I tried the medium setting, and apparently I was too dumb for that, so we had to go the beginner.
All
I
right.
got a few though.
I'll give you a hint then. It is right in your backyard. The movie was mostly shot, I think, in Australia, or at least a good amount of it was.
Oh, what,
So
Crocodile Dundee?
there you go. There you
That's
go.
the only one that
Yeah,
everyone knows.
yeah. No, Mel Gibson's. I think
Oh
Beyond
yeah,
Thunderdome was shot there too, right? And Mad Max, Road
yeah,
Warrior.
true.
You've had 3 or 4. All right, let's talk about a bet result from last week. You weren't here, but Dan and I, we tried to short Hormel. HRL was the stock ticker. It opened on Monday at $37.13, and we had a second ad planned at 38, which it hit on Thursday. And then even with the sell-off today, Hormel somehow decided to stay strong and closed at 38.24. So that takes our total from $470.66 to 462.20. And then random, that son of a bitch went long APA, which is a NASDAQ energy stock. Opened the week at 44.63, closed Friday at 42.42, giving random $460.10. So it's a close one, Anthony. I think we're going to need your savvy to help us get a good pick this week because it's not been going too well in the China shop lately.
Have we ever beaten random? That's the real question.
We have, yes.
We have. All right, that's good.
I think the record overall, like if you look at the money won and lost, as of the start of this year, it was positive us pretty overwhelmingly.
Okay, nice.
But
That's a
past
relieving thing.
past results are not a prediction of future expectations.
No, exactly. Was it Warren Buffett who said that most investors should just throw a dart at a dartboard with a loot box on it? They should
Well, wait for a
probably
bull
just
market first.
yeah, exactly. Nah, all in Nvidia.
It actually works surprisingly better than you think. Random has done better than I thought he would.
We're so proud of him.
That's enough sucking random off. Let's move on and talk about some news.
Dow drops deep on moving inflation, COVID frustration, war damnation. We're just bringing you the fucking news. You gotta recognize the game if you don't wanna lose. We're just two bulls trading information.
Yeah, we are.
Rioters raiding, insider trading, taxes are raising, bills on the hill. We got a crypto mill. No, they ain't growing weed. When the Fed speaks today, it's some shit we don't need.
Sing it, Dan.
Two bulls trading information.
What?
Two bulls trading information.
I'm inclined to agree.
Two bulls trading information.
That is accurate. Very accurate. Okay, Anthony, I think I've gotten off of Dan's script now. We should go back to normal.
I'm always blown away by that.
What, his
absolutely
musical
amazing.
talents? Yeah.
Yeah, literally. I feel like do we need to invite him back?
Well, you got the songs.
Or is that too mean?
Anything big
Okay.
catching your eye? I think maybe we can lead off with maybe some consumer sentiment that dropped today.
Yeah, definitely. I actually haven't seen it. If you want to lead the way.
Well, let's see. Preliminary estimates reveal that consumer sentiment fell from 69.5 in August to 67.7 in September and missed expectations that were set at 69.1. Even though it did decline, they're saying that the gauge still remains above the 6-month moving average, which is standing at 64.62, showcasing a resilient, optimistic outlook among U.S. households.
Is that a good thing that it's
I
so
don't
hot out?
know. I don't. I'm trying to figure out why this is important. Like this is what I guess the economy does well because everybody believes in it, right? Is that kind of the idea
Yeah,
behind it? If nobody's
and I guess
believing,
if you look at the last 6 months, there was really high inflation. So of course sentiment would have been horrible when inflation is quite high.
Right.
So now even though inflation's come down, sentiment's still bad. It's probably not a good thing.
That's something. Well, yeah. Why? I mean, because even the expectations for inflation are also down too, according to this report. That fell from 3.5 to 3.1, and the 5-year outlook is down at 2.7 now. And believe it or not,
Does
they stuck the transitory word into this article too.
It's only been 2 years. There's
Well,
still time. But yeah, I think it's one of those things where people have just done whatever they can to survive over the past 12 months. And now it's really, you sort of start running out of credit lines or
mhm.
other ways that you can, keep going. If unemployment continues to increase and people start losing their jobs, I think there's going to be a bit of pain moving forward.
Has unemployment actually been increasing yet? Because I thought last I saw,
Uh,
the jobs market was still holding pretty strong.
I think it went up like maybe 0.1% recently. So it's not too much of an increase. But then from what I'm seeing, a lot of the job openings are closing.
Hmm.
So there is a bit of concern there. And then as well, there have been a few like job layoff announcements in some companies. So yeah, I think it'll be interesting to see what happens. And if we see if we think about December last year, that's sort of what happened where stock market was going to shit. Some like heaps of these large companies started laying off people to try and keep their earnings up,
Hmm.
and then things bounced this year, which are good. But it'll be interesting to see if we see a similar thing for the next 3 months.
Speaking of inflation itself, then, I mean, what are your thoughts on where we're sitting at now versus where we're going to be going? Like we've got FOMC coming up here pretty soon, don't we?
Yeah, and it's quite challenging because I guess 50% of the people that I talk to think that we're going to see like a deflationary or disinflationary shock of recessionary trends,
Hmm.
reducing demand and decreasing, getting to the point where maybe prices decrease, and then the others think that inflation is going to stay high for longer. We're going to get the energy trend in the next few months as well as other factors. So yeah, it's I'm sort of on the fence. I'm not too sure what we'll see. Do you have any thoughts on it?
Nah, I just react to what I see. Anytime I try to predict what the market's going to do, it doesn't usually lead to very good results.
Yeah, I think it'll be interesting because China's experienced massive issues over there, so there's like quite large deflation.
Was there any more news on the God? What was the name of the company that was
Huawei,
not Huawei?
no,
The other real estate one that was like in danger of
it's
missing payments.
Evergrande, and
They just had a payment.
we really know our stuff.
I know, right? Oh, Country Gardens.
Yeah, Country Gardens. Yeah, yeah. Because so I think Evergrande are officially in bankruptcy, and then Country
Right.
Gardens missed a bond payment, but then apparently they paid another one. So
Okay, so they
there's
did make their September payment.
yeah, so they missed one, but they made another. So there's hope that but I just can't see it turning around quickly enough because yeah, from what I've heard, there's like 90% home ownership in China, which is just ridiculous. So 90% of the population own homes.
Wow.
So there's not really much give for people to buy all these.
Are their homes that they own actually built? Because I've heard that is a problem too.
Yeah, and then you have to get a mortgage out first. So
Yes,
you're paying a mortgage for a home that's never going to be built.
that is insane to me. No wonder why things are starting to collapse.
Yeah, but then I think so. Their exports have gone down massively. I think it was like in July it was like
Yeah.
23% year over year to the US, China, the US, Europe, and ASEAN. So that's a massive drop. And I guess if it keeps dropping, then there's could be the chance that they just do whatever they can to, uh,
Try to keep propping it
get
up.
get their products out. So how like I think they call it dumping, where you basically just push the price down and try
Right.
and sell things to whoever will buy it, and that could be quite deflationary as well. Then there's also the risk that more sanctions reverse that.
Yeah, that actually ties in with a story I got here about Highway. Speaking of the devil, House Republicans now trying to demand full sanctions after noticing that some of the chips that they're using in their new phone they just unveiled look very similar to some of the U.S. tech they've been trying to guard. Uh, It's really seems like they're starting to escalate this semiconductors kind of chip war that's been going on.
Yeah, it does. It does seem to be like the thing that they want to, they really want to bring into focus, I guess, because it is quite a large advantage that the US have, and but
Hmm.
apparently it's a 7 nanometer, so the
And that's not
technology used
even
for that,
that's like 2 generations ago too. They're on 3 nanometer chips now at this point, aren't
really.
they? Yeah, like I'm pretty sure that's what TSM is and was making for maybe is Apple or somebody else.
Yeah, okay, but yeah, from my understanding, yeah, no Chinese company has anything. Well, should even have a seven. I think there's someone called Peter Zion who's quite a good sort of geopolitical guy. Maybe goes a bit over the top sometimes, but he was talking about how they might not have anything close to like 20 or 30. It's like a lot
Oh, it's
higher.
all just stolen.
Yeah, so apparently it's stolen from. But then that's it's not that they steal it, but they force international companies to partner
Right.
with companies within China, and then there's you know,
Oh yeah.
oops, we somehow have this in our in our company now. Let's make it, and so a lot of it's not as much innovation, but copying.
Yeah, you have to use our workers to put it together, our engineers, and we're just going
Yeah,
to take notes. Don't worry about us.
yeah, but yeah, I find it quite interesting how the US are really focusing on semiconductors, and I understand there is a benefit for I guess AI in the future as well as military, but it just seems like a weird place to sort of make a stand.
Really? I think it makes a lot of sense, especially after the COVID shutdowns and lockdowns when they disrupted the supply chain. I think we saw just how dependent we are on semiconductors as a material
So then why would you sanction China?
because it's a competitive edge and we have to protect those, apparently.
Yeah, yeah, and I do agree that
uh,
America. No, sorry.
no. Well, I think a lot of it has to do with like the having a good compact chip design is miniaturization, and miniaturization is like huge in getting really good nuclear weapons per se. And if suddenly they can have the production capabilities to start manufacturing their own chips, then who's to say that someone like North Korea or Iran's not going to benefit from that?
Yeah, I agree. And I think it's one of those things where it's almost like they see what's coming, where there's the risk of. I think today there was, close to 200 aircraft sort of circling Taiwan from China. So
Hmm.
definitely seems like, I don't know if it will happen or not, but it seems like even if it doesn't, they're planning for the potential for an invasion of Taiwan. So you do need to diversify your supply chains away from
Mm.
China, away from Taiwan, and yeah, as you said, semiconductors are vital in everything. I think, yeah, during the lockdowns, as you said, like cars couldn't be built, all these
Right.
other factors because we didn't have these semiconductors. So, um, yeah, it'll be interesting to see. And I think it seems like Mexico is benefiting a lot from all this as well.
Yes, thank you. I was gonna mention that point because Mexico actually overtook China recently as the biggest trade partner with the U.S.
Yeah, how do we make money off that?
I think you need to find some emerging market funds and throw it into Mexico, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's other concerns there, right?
Yeah, but it does seem like, yeah, it's probably the greatest beneficiary of all this. I'd say, of this onshoring or friendshoring.
Hmm.
Mexico, you could say Brazil maybe.
Yeah,
Um,
pretty much anybody
yeah,
in this ocean quadrant, I guess you could say, right? Any of the Americas should benefit from that shift.
yeah, definitely. And I think it's not just military conflicts. It's also, we've seen natural disasters, other things are becoming more common. So you want to do whatever you
Hmm.
can to make sure these things don't have impacts for months at a time.
Yeah, yeah, that's another good point. All right, you got anything else for general market news here? I think you had something from Ray Dalio.
Yeah, yeah, true. So, for anyone who listens to Ray Dalio, I think he's a really interesting guy, and obviously, has been the
Hmm.
founder of the most, or I don't know, the most successful, the largest hedge fund in the world. But he's had this saying for so long, saying cash is trash, cash is trash. Don't hold cash.
Right.
Invest it in bonds or stocks and stuff. And we know that stocks have done pretty well. Bonds haven't done very well over the past 2 years, and now he's just come out and said hold cash temporarily, not not debt and bonds. So it seems like it's quite convenient that he said this after a 2-year bond bear market, but
You should be
normally how it
buying,
goes,
right?
doesn't it?
Shouldn't you be buying? I guess
Yeah,
you could short.
but
Can you short bonds?
yeah, you can. But so if anyone knows the history of bonds over the past 40 years, the price of them have normally gone up because interest rates have gone down. So if you ever try to short them, they said it's like the widow maker. You're gonna. So I guess in terms of short term, like you could probably do it, but a lot of people didn't do very well.
Right. Okay.
But that trend has changed obviously over the past 2 years as the price of them have gone down.
Well,
So
yeah, as a kid, I remember them talking about bonds all the time. But like in the military, there's like, oh, you can sign up for these bonds. They pay this interest rate. And I'm looking at the interest rate they were paying then, thinking like, why not go in the stock market? Like I'm
yeah,
23. Like I have a much longer horizon. I think I could do better here.
yeah. But then now they're like close to 5%, or I'm not sure exactly what the yield is, but
That actually makes sense though, from an investment perspective. Like, at least making inflation back. I think before you're getting like what 2-3%.
yeah. Well, the two, it's because at the moment we have an inverted yield curve. So
Right.
what that means, yeah, front end is obviously so it has higher yields in the back end. So people are expecting interest rates to go down
Right.
in the near term, so recession. And so for a lot of people, it's actually better for them just to why push down the curve? You could
Right.
just hold,
Hold
you know,
cash, like
yeah,
Ray Dalio says.
yeah, exactly. Do what he says.
All
No,
right, all right. This time, not don't worry about the other times.
exactly.
It's like Michael Burry deleting his tweets and apologizing for telling everybody to short the market last year.
Yeah, did you hear that whole thing about how he put a put on the markets as well
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I
recently?
think that one actually did all right, though, didn't it?
I think so. I don't know. Well, everyone was saying like it's 1.6 billion. It's like
Oh no,
however
that's
much
the
of his portfolio.
yeah. No,
Yeah,
it's not 1.6 billion either. That's the value of the options contracts should he choose to exercise them.
yeah, and everyone, all the media was like, "Ooh, lots of money. Let's."
Oh
Lucky for
god.
people, they listen to this very educational podcast. They know that's not the case.
All right, should we move on and maybe do some sponsorships and advertising?
Yeah, I'm keen. How much am I getting paid for this?
Oh, ooh, we better. Okay, they might be a longer ad break than normal. Make up some overhead. All right, all right. Ah, man. All right. How do you feel?
Yeah,
Did I pay you enough to sit through those?
you're
No.
lucky I came back. No,
Oh.
sorry.
Fair
No,
enough.
that's mean.
All right.
Yeah, it was. I was actually really interested in them. What
Don't even know what they are. I know. It's all right. Let's play stock time and move on.
Stock time! Now it's talk about stocks time. Looking for setups, it's still not advice. Big moves, fresh news, and earnings. All that we're saying, it's still not advice. Stock time!
Please don't sue us.
We need more singing from you, Kyle. That's what I'm getting from
I
this.
tried once. It was a disaster.
Oh, really? I feel like we need just one episode and just have you singing everything, and that would be great. Everyone will be like, what is happening?
Oh God, maybe I should. Oh, ooh, that would be really bad. It could be funny though.
Yeah, if you want to, say so in the Discord.
You asshole. All right. All right. I've got a story about Ford. I don't know if you've been paying attention to the United Auto Workers negotiations that have been going on with the big three in the U.S.
How much money are they wanting?
Oh, they are asking for a large raise. Large raise. The executive Jim Farley of Ford, he had said that the demands were for a 40% pay hike. I think the quote was like they want to get paid $300,000 a year to work like 20 hours a week or something silly like that. But there's some
Yeah,
more details that finally came out in some of this. Like we're starting to see some of the sides of the auto workers, and after reading this, like yeah, it sounds like they have a legit grievance. So I guess over the last like 15 years, like there's a bunch of different tier systems that they use over at Ford, and new hires get stuck into tier two. They get reduced the wages, lower benefits, and apparently it takes a long time to get out of that tier two contract. There's a guy who's been working there for 3 years. and still sitting there stuck on that, not getting any benefits, not getting a pension, uh, barely making ends meet. Basically, is what he's saying.
Yeah, well, that's pretty rough. And I think it's always, if we look at corporations over the past 15, 20 years, they have really been squeezing the employee, which is probably why we do see these quite high
Hmm.
demands when, let's be honest, and workers do have the power at the moment. There's, well, maybe not in the future, but recently, as we've seen, there's been, uh, I don't know if people have been leaving the workforce or there just hasn't been enough immigration or other factors, but
Hmm.
people couldn't hire enough workers. So
Yeah.
I think it's getting to the point where they will have to meet some demands.
Yep. And I mean, now's the time to do it, right? Like
Yeah,
they need
exactly. But
you. There's a limited amount of people applying for these positions, especially for like the blue collar type jobs, which is a shame because you can make really good money doing that. Uh,
yeah,
it's never enough welders, electricians, any of those skilled type jobs.
I agree. And I guess where I'm from in Australia, they get paid quite like probably similar to the hundreds of thousands of dollars,
Yeah.
those type of workers. And that is because there's quite strong sort of unions. But I think there does need to be a balance between the unions and the pay increases because we probably don't want to see something like what we saw in the 70s where it was just absolute chaos. In the UK, I think they had, I don't know if you heard, there was like the 3-day work week.
No, really.
Yeah, so basically what happened is the coal miners went on strike and they didn't have enough electricity to to run their economy for more than 3 days a week.
Oh
So
my gosh.
yeah, so that was for like 9 months. So I think it can go. It's probably gone too far towards the big corporations and employers over the past 10 years, but we don't want
Hmm.
it to sort of scale to the other side. It needs to be like a nice balance in between, which there probably won't be, but
There
we can
never
hope.
is, right? It's just the pendulum's always
Yeah.
swinging. There'll be a point where they meet in the middle, but it's usually transitioning from one side to the other.
Yeah, and it'd be interesting to see because obviously Ford. Well, I guess Ford hasn't been struggling, but if there is, it'd be interesting to see if we see like there being going back to China if they put because there's been all this concern about subsidies on
Mm.
Chinese electric vehicles. So do they put tariffs on them or even sanctions on Chinese vehicles?
Oh, really?
And
Are
that
there any
could,
Chinese
yeah.
vehicles worth buying?
There's heaps of so they've gone quite heavily into EV. So
Oh,
they're
you
probably
got
one
the
of the
Neo,
major
yeah.
players. Yeah, at the moment in terms of EV, and like Neo is a big one that I've heard of, but uh, like Lincoln Co, Virtuo, and they also own like Volvo and a lot of those. Some of the older European companies were bought out by China. So
Really?
and basically yeah, and they
When
basically
did
get
that happen?
subsidized. Um, Volvo was a
Volvo?
while ago. Yeah. So I think they were
I always thought
Swedish, and
BMW
then
bought them out.
no, I think it's Lincoln Co. I'm pretty sure.
Oh, wow. I did not.
But
Jesus. China's buying everything.
yeah. So well, yeah, well, we'll see if it's like what happened in Japan in the 80s where they bought up everything and then
Oh, and then
slowly
just
declines, and then
stagnated for 40 years.
yeah, exactly,
Well,
the Japanification of China.
well, the reason why I bring this up to pay attention to is because they did kick off their strikes at some of the locations for Ford.
Okay,
Their Michigan assembly plant in Wayne. Yeah,
is it just a certain period of time, or are they
I think this
just until they
is
get their
till they get their
demands?
demands. Yeah,
Yeah, wow.
it looks like so far it's only one. No, apparently this is the simultaneous strikes against all three of them. So I guess GM and Stellantis also are experiencing this too. So this is not good for the auto industry.
Does this push more jobs to Mexico? I don't know if they even can do that.
I know Ford does do a lot of their production stuff in Mexico. They opened up like a $2 billion plant down there like 10 years ago, back when that I-55 corridor was getting put together.
Hmm.
I think this probably couldn't have happened at a better time for these companies though, because I think they were sitting on a lot of excess inventory as of some of the last reports I saw about the car industry.
Interesting. So they're not too fast. They've can wait it out.
Maybe they're not quite in a rush to resolve things immediately.
Yeah, it does seem like a big issue in the US with what's happening in Hollywood as well, and it seems like there's quite a lot of striking at the moment. I guess in the UK as well.
A Hollywood one makes sense too, though. That one's just insane. Like they get nothing
Yeah,
for any of the streaming rights that are getting tossed around. Like those things are huge.
yeah, it is pretty mental, and I guess I guess the challenge is in an industry like that where there's so many people want to work on it. They can sort
Right.
of they can sort of just be like, oh, okay, we don't want your stuff. Let's get someone else.
The problem is when it comes to the streaming thing, though, is this is probably the end of commercial-free programming you get to watch again. Be just like when cable ended up monetizing.
Yeah, I don't know about anyone else, but I haven't really been enjoying many of the recent shows.
No,
They're all
not really.
garbage in my opinion.
That's because all the actors are on strike.
Yeah,
Trying to make
true.
sure that they're not getting replaced by AI.
That's the one. That's the part of it I agree with. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, yeah. Oh god, can you imagine like peak Arnold Schwarzenegger again? Yes.
To be fair, if you get paid for it, like I think I saw some people with their music. I don't know if you saw like Drake. There's like an AI song in Drake's voice,
No.
which is yeah, someone released that and then they try to put it in the Grammys or something, but as an award. But I reckon for artists it'd be smart for them to say, I don't mind as long as I get my royalty or whatever.
I know this we're going way off topic here, but I know that the same thing has been happening in like the books and the book world. Like authors are like seeing books that supposedly they written showing up on Amazon, but like they never wrote it. It's just some AI gets fed a bunch of their works and so print something out and make a quick $20 a book, pretending to be some well-known author.
We're all going to be replaced soon, aren't we?
Oh God, I know, right?
Have our little VR headsets and sit in the room.
Yeah, exactly. You got any stock news to catch your eye this week?
Yeah, a recent IPO. I think it's the largest IPO in the last 2 years. Apparently, it's a UK company called Arm Holdings.
I saw that. I did not realize how. I didn't know anything about this one. I guess I completely missed that news. But I didn't know that almost every semiconductor manufacturer like uses their products. I didn't realize their reach was so huge.
Yeah, I still don't really understand. I'm trying to figure it out. Like it says they're semiconductors. It's like okay, but I think is it the designs that must be the patents of these
It's got to be
certain.
their designs, right? Yeah,
Yeah. So apparently they're in 99% of smartphones
right. It must be
worldwide,
their
which is
architecture. Yeah.
yeah, and it's I think they were based in England in Cambridge, but they've been doing really well. They're valued. I think they opened at $51 and they pushed up to $64, so $68 billion valuation.
Wait
And
for
to put that in,
is that
sorry,
including SoftBank's 90% stake they're still holding on to?
yeah, probably. So that's true. So the liquidity in that's going to be interesting.
It's nuts though that much valuation off of a 10% release of basically the outstanding shares. Is that how that works?
Yeah. I think it's more to do with the total. So there's probably only like 6 billion on the market if there's 10%.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
basically it's saying like the total value of it, yeah.
That's crazy.
But even then if you look at their financials, they're sort of from what I can see, they're not growing very fast at the moment. Their revenue's like
Longtime fans of the show should be familiar with the lender formerly known as Sue Pullen, and I'm pleased to announce that she's back, fresh off a rebrand and ready to help as Sue Mackey. Sue is a certified mortgage advisor at Fairway Independent Mortgage, an equal housing lender who focuses on finding the right product for you and your needs. She has over 20 years of experience helping thousands of homeowners. Whether it's purchasing, refinancing, or even a reverse mortgage, Sue will help. Sue's licensed in 36 states now, so reach out and let Sue Mackey it happen for you. The best way to reach her is just give her a call at 520-977-7904 or in an email, spullen@fairwaymc.com. Fairway Independent Mortgage has an MLS number of 2289. Sue Mackey has an MLS number of 206048. That email again, spullen@fairwaymc.com, and that phone number is 520-977-7904. Shoot Sue an email and let her know she needs to update that address.
$3 billion and then their net income's like $500,000, and yet they're still at 63 billion or 65 billion as of market close. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see. It's not like it's in the Nvidia, which is growing like 100% a year.
Well, I think you see this a lot with the IPOs. The speculation gets a lot of people excited. A lot of that greed shows up, and people just buy it. And a year from now, that's probably not going to be the best decision.
Yeah. And that's why they put on NASDAQ, because there was all this thing about, oh, should they put it in the London Stock Exchange, the NASDAQ? But
Yeah.
in NASDAQ, you get the higher valuation, so why wouldn't you?
Yeah.
And
Yeah, of course.
as you said, they need the money.
So is it something that you're interested in taking a stake in then? It sounds like you're ready to wait.
I don't know. It's challenging. I've tried to balance the valuations with the investment thesis and I guess the future potential. So at the moment, valuation probably not there, and then the growth. The growth is really the challenging part as well, because if you were to invest, you'd want it to be growing quite quickly, and not currently seeing that. So probably one I'll keep an eye on. It's interesting, but I might stay on the sideline, and then because I said that, it's probably going to go up by like 100%.
I wouldn't. No, go just pull the history of like the last 50 biggest IPOs out there and see how many of them actually went up or closed, like 3 months later above their IPO high.
Yeah.
I think you'll find a lot of them end up coming down quite a bit.
So you're going to stay out?
Oh, yeah, I'll stay out. I think I'm just now ready to start looking at Snowflake again. If that tells you anything.
How long ago was that? 2 years or something?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. Now it's got some history. You can start applying some technical analysis to it.
Yeah. I guess when you're trading on TA, that's the key thing,
Right.
isn't it? The history of it.
All right. Anything else for stock news, or should we move on and do some crypto?
Yeah, that's really the main stuff for me. Let's go to crypto.
All right, let's do some crypto.
I got some crypto in my wallet, hanging out on my Ethereum blockchain. Yeah, I got some crypto in my wallet, some Doji, Sushi, Polkadot, NFT. Decentralized, anonymized, fabulous cryptocurrency.
All right. I think you had a pretty good story lined up for crypto. You want to kick us off here?
Good story, bad story, depends, I guess, what side you're on.
Entertaining, I
Entertaining?
suppose.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah.
I don't know, but it's basically, it's quite interesting, and I guess maybe we can put in the show notes as like a long list of Binance's slow, this is the title of it, Binance's slow train wreck towards implosion. So
after all the shit they threw at FTX.
I know. Yeah, well, to be fair, now we understand it. FTX was pretty fucked. So it's scary to think what's underneath the hood of Binance. But it's basically just, there's probably like 100 points here of all the issues that Binance has gone through over the past 10 months. For example, Binance's head of product quit in September. In August, they shut down their crypto payments business. MasterCard ended their partnership. Their credit card processor Checkout.com ended service due to compliance concerns. Apparently, they were committing massive US sanction violation with Russian banks. Binance head of Asian Pacific quits. Binance US is unable to produce financial records for SEC, and that's only for September and August, and it's basically got that for every single month.
Is that anything to do or anything in there about the stuff that happened in France?
Let me have a look.
Like the director or like the head of like their France operations like said something about how their concerns are all blown out of proportion, and then their governing body like showed up the next day.
Really? Far out.
Yeah.
Let me have a look.
I did see the things about the people leaving, and that's never a good sign. Wasn't there like their compliance people leaving too?
Yeah, I was just where was it? Oh yeah, here we go. Binance under investigation in France for aggravated money laundering.
Yeah, that was it.
Basically, they're forced to cease operation in every country, like Netherlands, Belgium, Germany.
Oh God.
Yeah. What else we got here? Apparently, Binance General Counsel, Chief Strategy Officer, and SVP of Compliance all quit in response to CZ's interactions with US regulators. They lost their banking partner in the US in February, so they had to suspend USD bank transfers. So it's just all these issues. Yeah, it's amazing to see that they're actually still still active.
How is that possible? Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, so as I said, we'll put it in the description, but there's like 100 points of issues here, and it is a little bit concerning too. So there's concern that they have basically been relying on Binance. They've Binance token, they've pumped it up, and maybe they're sort of selling it to try and increase liquidity. But will it be a Ponzi scheme similar to what we saw with FTX token? And then if Binance were to go down, that would be massive. That would be sort of like a Mt. Gox 2.0 because it's such a large exchange in the industry. So
how much bigger are they than FTX was at their peak?
I'm not too sure, but they're quite a lot bigger.
Because what was FTX? FTX, I think at one point had like double-digit billions that their assets they had.
Let me see how many assets they have. Yeah, but I think the challenge is that they had was at 14. So FTX had 14 billion, but most of it was in their very illiquid tokens.
Yeah,
similar to how ARM is worth 60 billion.
Right.
If you try to sell it all, I don't know if
yeah, good luck.
you might get 3.
Right. That's fine. Actually, speaking of that, the story that I had pulled for this week was the FTX getting permission to start selling off their crypto assets, to start settling their debts.
Interesting.
3.4 billion in crypto that they're going to start liquidating, and that's a large amount. You got to think that it's going to have an effect on like the Bitcoin and Ethereum prices, right?
Yeah, you'd think so, especially if people try to front run it.
Yeah, because I mean, a lot of the people or a lot of their assets were held in like the main ones there, but they did mention the like 1,300 other like shit coins that they're basically holding that are so illiquid that they have no idea of even figuring out if there's any value to them.
Yeah, I'd imagine it'd be impossible to get rid of them because who would buy them? The only benefit was if you have FTX as the exchange.
The whole reason for them holding them, would just be to provide liquidity, right?
Yeah, I can't really find too much about the market share that they have.
Oh, that's no big deal. I assume they're bigger though, because they did offer to bail out FTX. So if they're not bigger, maybe they're healthier.
So maybe 50% of the total crypto exchange market share.
Oh wow!
So that's,
okay,
that's according to, and it is CoinGecko, a CoinGecko article released September 2023. Yeah, so that's pretty massive.
Yeah, can you forward me that?
Yeah, I'll forward it through. So basically, it's saying that on average they're doing like, is that $500 billion worth of transactions? Yeah, I think it is.
Oof.
So that was at the start of the year. Now it's gone down. April it was about 300 billion, May 200, and then June 200 as well. So it's going down a little bit. So
yeah, that's probably not a good sign either.
No, but yeah, if they blow up, I think that would be massive.
Do you think the SEC cracking down on all these is just trying to pave the way for some of the institutional ETFs that they want to get out there, or is it just finally just these guys have been doing some bad shit for too long and they're finally just getting their just desserts?
Yeah, I think there's a bit of both. So I can understand, like, as they were saying before, like there's the risk of basically all this illegal money going onto Binance, not just from Russia or North Korea, but from, basically every country in the world.
It's anybody doing anything illegal.
Yeah. And it's like on ramps and off ramps. And I think they've gotten a little bit better recently, but if they're not tracking all that to the current standards, then it's impossible for, any organization to know, or any of these countries to know what's happening. So I sort of understand in that perspective. I think a lot of it as well is it's like, well, you're not following our rules. Let's show you what we can do.
Right.
And yeah, but then they were trying to stop the spot ETFs going up from like BlackRock or Grayscale.
Kathy Woods, I think, was trying to get one too.
Yeah, but wasn't there a Supreme Court ruling recently that said that the Grayscale one was against the law? They shouldn't have blocked it.
No, I did not see that.
Yeah, so I think there was something like that. So I feel like there's apparently legally they were saying that they can't block it. So it'll be interesting.
That'd be very interesting. I feel like Grayscale was the one who probably deserved it most. Like I think they actually have an ETF that tracks Bitcoin. So they've been in the space for a while. Like they probably had applications for years.
Yeah.
I would have been pissed if I was them and BlackRock ended up getting approved before they did.
It's definitely going to happen though.
Yeah, right.
BlackRock or Fidelity or someone like that is going to come in and grease some palms and get what they want.
That's not how that works in this country, right?
No,
that's illegal.
It's illegal. How much money do you want for your political campaign?
Yeah, exactly. Oh, I'll just donate to your charity. You can skim off of that yourself.
Yeah. Oh, can you pay me to do a speech at your? Was it Yellen who did like a speech at Citadel for like $1 million?
Yeah. Should get paid in Bitcoin.
Yeah. You've got a scoop here.
Right. All right.
What have you got? Have you got anything in crypto?
No. We talked about my story. I think we can move on. And normally, what we do is a good, bad, and ugly section. But since you don't, I don't think you try to trade as actively as we do. So I don't know if you have something like a moment from, I don't know, this past week that kind of stood out to you as like a valuable lesson to have learned. Maybe we can both kind of share something like that with the audience, and hopefully somebody else can take some lessons from that too.
Yeah, I want to hear your ugly first before I get into my lesson.
I don't know that I want to call this an ugly then necessarily. We listened to Vanta's town hall last night. We're recording this Friday, so this would have been Thursday night. And one of the things that they had talked about on there was being aware of the emotions that you go through when you're in a trade. And that was something that I only took one trade today, Friday. While I was sitting in that trade, I started just writing down like the thoughts that were going through my head while I was sitting in that, while it was winning, while it was losing. And I found out that there's a lot of fear that I still am dealing with. And it's not even like monetary value of it, because it's a prop account and it was like two micro contracts. It's whatever. Like that loses, it's $25. Not that big a deal. But I think that fear is more tied into not wanting to be wrong. I'm afraid of being wrong, and that's something that I have to figure out how to address.
Yeah, that's the thing with everything, isn't it? The more you want to be successful at something, then the more emotions you have. I remember I used to do sales back in the day, and it was if you really wanted to do well and you really wanted to make more sales, and you just ooze like desperation and scared.
Right.
And then there's always the people who didn't give a shit who would make more sales. It's like,
Right. Yeah, it's that
yeah,
careless, like I need to divorce myself from the results and focus on the actual execution of like the strategies. Like, am I entering on the criteria that I predefined? Am I taking profits at the points where my strategy dictates that I do, or am I getting scared and moving my stops too soon, or cutting before I'd get my full wins? Like, those are the things that I need to shift my focus toward if I want to do better, if I want to improve, and I want to get over this hump. I need to be focused on the execution, and the results will follow from that.
yeah, just trying to withdraw that emotion from it. I was just going to say I had a similar trade, and mine are probably more like swing trades, to looking to
Mm-hmm.
do over multiple weeks. And it was with a company, and everything that I had in my strategy like all come to plan. It looked like it had bottomed out from quite a large drawdown. It was sort of turning up, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna get in the position. Got in the position, made it like it went up by like a couple of percent,
Mm-hmm.
which was quite good. And then it sort of turned around, and I just got a bit spooked, and uh, yeah, close the trade, and now it's sort of up 20%. So it was one of those things where I just should have been patient. Yeah, as you're saying there, sticking with the strategy that you have and not trying to. I guess you try to close it because you think, oh, it's like risk prevention, but
Mm-hmm.
as long as it's within your current strategy, continue with it. And then if it goes against it, then I think you have to sit down afterwards and analyze your strategy and say, is it the strategy, or is it just the trade, and then on to the next one?
Well, I mean, any good trader is still only winning what, like 50% of the time. I
Mm.
mean, roughly, right? Like, you can be a professional, successful trader with much lower win rates as long as your risk reward profiles are right. And that is one of the easiest ways to just bleed yourself dry, is to not take the full profit potentials of your trades. Constantly, taking, say, 0.5% gain, but you're risking 1% on every trade. Like, yeah, that's just going to bleed you out.
Yeah, yeah, and I think it's one of those things that you hear lots of traders talk about, how it takes them years to get into that mindset of of just allowing it to run, and yeah.
I think one of the things that I want to start doing that maybe might help with that is just writing it up as a loss as soon as the trade goes on. Maybe if I'm looking at it from the perspective of the money's already gone, I had enough conviction to be able to put this bet on. Let's write that off, and we don't even care about it anymore now at this point. Now at this point, it's all about, did I make the right decisions? Did I execute properly?
But it seems like that wasn't an issue even today. So it's obviously not about the money. It's more about that want to be right.
It's about losing. It's about winning
Yeah,
or losing for me. But if I start off with the idea that, okay, it's already lost, then maybe that might help a little bit. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like you need to almost find a way to just,
To be okay with losing just in general.
yeah, or just withdraw yourself from. Yeah, that could be a good way to withdraw from that certain trade. It's not something I've I've figured out how to do yet.
Is there anything that you had in mind to try to help with the situation you ran into?
Um, oh, it's challenging because a lot of the times I'll withdraw too much, and then especially when they're swing trades, you can just let them run for ages, and
Hmm.
it's easy because I'm not at the computer as much. Like, not paying
Right.
attention, so I'll look back a bit later and be like, "Oh shit, I've let that
Right.
run a bit too far." But yeah, I guess that's one thing that I have found sometimes works. Like, and then as long as you have your risk reward strategy in place, then I'm not fussed
Yeah.
how it's going. But yeah, I guess that's probably more of a swing trader's mentality rather than it'd be a bit harder to do that as a day trader.
I know to try to combat myself from getting spooked out of positions, like one of the things I have done, and I think it does help, is to just constantly be reevaluating, like, what am I seeing? Is this still consistent with what the view I have for my bias? Is it still in place? Like, am I seeing anything that contradicts that? Like, just take it like systematically and like re-qualify the trade. Is the trade still qualified? Okay, then let it keep going.
Yeah, but then I guess are you over analyzing?
Yeah, then there's some of that too. I guess it depends on where the leak is, right?
Yeah,
Is it costing you money?
but is it more over analyzing? Do you think?
I don't know. Um, I guess it's just another way to make you feel okay with the risk again. Is kind of the idea behind that. Like, would I still
Mm,
take this trade? Yeah, okay. Well, then let it keep going.
yeah,
Have they hit their targets? Like, is this a spot where I'd expect them to potentially reverse this completely, and completely come against me and take my stops out? Like, I'm not seeing anything that indicates that. Then it's just fear, and you just got to push that away, I guess, or argue with yourself and be like, hey, it's no reason to be afraid. Everything still looks good. It
yeah,
may come back against us, and who cares?
yeah. Good point.
I don't know. But again, I haven't figured it out either. So,
We're all trying to figure it out. Uh,
yeah.
yeah, another one I did is I put a short on oil not too long ago, thankfully. But yeah, I don't know what's happening there. It'll be interesting to see.
Oh, like a swing trade.
Yeah, swing trade, but it might be a little early. Just with, I guess the hypothesis behind it is that a lot of the cuts that are being made by OPEC are optional, and as price goes up, and as Russia and other countries, because they're cutting, they're still making
Right.
less revenue, even though prices are going up. Then they could turn around their sort of their production. At the same time, China was buying up a lot of Iranian oil,
Oh, that's
so they've
right.
got like quite a lot of sort of storage. So then they might start selling or putting it onto their market and sort of reduce the value. But
If China's economy is in trouble too, then if they start using less oil, that's going to be a big supply chain hit too, isn't it?
yeah, it will be quite big. But then I think at the same time as well, they don't. It will still hit their economy because oil prices are going to go up. So they're trying to
Hmm.
do what they can to. I talked to someone really interesting, like Anas Al Haji, who's like quite a well known energy markets guy, and he
Yeah.
was saying that the floor. So basically, Saudi Arabia and Russia want and sort of OPEC want the floor of oil to be like 70,
Yeah.
and then ideally China want the floor, the peak of oil to be 70, which isn't the case. But then
Yeah.
what he was saying is because they were buying Iranian oil at a discount, that would mean that Brent or the US, so Brent would be more close to 80 or 85. And that would sort of be their,
Uh,
their minimum that they'd want it to be because they're averaging out sort of the prices of the Iranian oil they're buying at a discount, sort of illegally, and the actual oil they're buying on the market.
right.
Um, but yeah, it's gone to sort of shot past that. So um, I got in the position around 93. So it's gone up a little bit higher than that, but we'll see.
Where's your cut it if you're wrong, or where do you know you're wrong? I guess is the question.
Yeah, it's challenging. Probably when it 98, but then that might be too high up to hold. So I'm thinking if it gets close to 95, I'll have to reconsider.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and then oil is challenging as well because there are technicals obviously involved, but then there's lots of other macroeconomic stuff to take into account.
Oil is the traditional widowmaker.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else you want to cover here before we wrap things up and make a bet pick?
No, not really. Just keeping an eye on a few other companies, but
well, let's talk about them in the bet news here. Then see if we can't come up with a good pick. Try to carry us to victory.
I need it, wanna beat it, gonna win it if I take it from you. I'm filling my positions, quit your bitching, random's gonna lose. Got a chart full of levels and a stop that's not too tight. It's bet picking time in the shop, so pick 'em right.
All right. Let's see. What have we been looking at? I told you we picked Hormel, and I was actually still looking at it and still believing in the short idea. I don't know if you want to take a look at the daily on it. It's HRL. Get your thoughts.
Yeah, I think I looked at it before. I guess
the only thing I don't like is it looks like it's trying to accept back into that big distribution that it's been rotating in since March of 23.
Yeah, and that's sort of what I'm seeing.
Yeah.
We saw some another spike down in 2019. Yeah, early 23. It seems to be a place where there's been lots of liquidity in the past.
Right.
Quite a good support, horizontal support. If I look on a weekly as well, from a RSI perspective, it looks like it's sort of looking to reverse, but then there's obviously other things to take into account. But
the only thing that scares me off of that is just there's a lot of things look bearish on the S&P right now, and I'm not sure I necessarily want to be long anything.
Yeah. And what does this company do? I guess we're looking.
Oh, they make the chili. They make my favorite chili. Hot no bean Hormel chili.
How good. I guess they probably have lots of exposure to soybeans and other beans as well.
Yeah, well, they make a lot of other processed foods products, type stuff. Okay. I think they make some deli meats and probably hot dogs and other shit like that.
Oh, okay, nice.
So it should be something that would do well in a bearish climate, right?
Yeah. So I guess that's the risk.
Yeah.
Of shorting it again. But yeah, I guess the daily does.
I think you talked me out of shorting it again, looking at it now. That looks like it just failed the lower end of balance, and now it's going to want to go up and retest the high end at 41.
Yeah, I could say that.
Yeah. Okay, what were you looking at?
I'm going to be very critical of do you only look at US stocks?
I'll look at whatever you want, bud. As long as I can get an opening, as long as there's some volume on it. That's the only thing.
There's an interesting one called EVO, EVO, Evolution AB. I think it's
the Swiss exchange.
Yeah, but then I really like it so I sort of use both fundamental and sometimes technical for the entrance. But now I'm looking at the technicals. It's looking a bit
silly.
Yeah, but then it has broken above. So if we look at that peak in the sort of the 1200 range, it's broken above that and it's closed above that, which was a major sort of closed below it, and then now it's come back and opened above it on the weekly. So that was a major resistance and support.
It looks to me like they still haven't regained that yet. It kind of looks like that's just a fight right now. Buy volume looks decent though. It looks like it's trending up, which is good to see. Damn, that's an expensive one though. What is do I have to convert dollars to francs to get this?
Yeah, so it's not that much. It's not expensive.
Okay. What is that conversion rate?
So Swedish krona, I think it's you times it by 0.14. Oh no, sorry, 0. Oh wait, hang on, I got pounds. 0.09.
0.0. Sorry, no, that's more like a $180, $150 stock.
Yeah, but you know what? Another one I'm looking at, which is actually I'm going to say this one, American Express, AXP. So if you look at it from a fundamental, from a technical perspective, it looks like it's bounced off a bit of a horizontal. On the weekly, it's broken up above the 50 sort of EMA.
That is an interesting looking one.
Apparently, their consumer card net write-offs rate dropped as well, which is a positive. So they're not writing off as much debt.
You know what I really like about this is I love the daily on this. I love the buy volume that came in this week. This week looked really strong. That was a really strong candle.
Yeah.
Also, the changing character too. That's the first candle that put in a new high since the last week in July.
Yeah, and I'm looking at the stochastics and sort of like, the moving averages, and the 50s just come to test a 200 on the daily, and then it's sort of like going back up to accelerating to the upside. So that's a positive as well.
Ooh, good volume on Friday too. Yeah, a lot of buy volume here. I like it. How do you want to structure this? We only get to keep it for a week, so do you want to blind enter on Monday? You want to set a limit entry? You can split the position in two, and then you can set some take profits too.
Yeah, right. I guess you half blind entry on the Monday.
This is AXP, by the way.
AXP, yeah.
Yeah. Half Monday. Okay. And the other half?
From your perspective, what would you normally sort of do, it lower or higher?
Let's take a look at, see if we can figure out where that volume came in.
I think it was due to news from what I could see, with the net write-offs being lower than expected.
I think I would consider adding then the fair value gap around like 162 half.
Yeah, I would say I was just looking sort of at that similar level as well. Yeah, I'll say 162.
And then put the stop at, say, 161? Or do you want to go lower than that?
Damn, that's pretty tight. But yeah, let's do it. Actually,
we only got a week. Actually, we can go to the next one down below that.
158, 159, or is that too low for you guys?
That might be a little low, unless your take profit's going to be $4 or $5.
It's different. It's just, I guess that's the thing. As you said, it's different.
It's hard. It's hard to figure out because you have a week.
Because it's longer. It's
You don't get to look at it. You can't change the parameters after the fact. It's not as easy as it looks.
No, definitely. And because I normally hold them for longer, so the amount I put on is less. So it's the challenge. The risk reward is obviously changed, as you said. Larger stop loss, but larger take profit. I'll say about 160. Yeah, if you can push down to that.
I think 160 sounds reasonable. Just below that red doji with the gap up. If they start filling that gap, then we probably don't want to be in this anymore.
Yeah.
And then as far as take profits go, you can set a take profit if you want, or you can just let it ride and close out on Friday.
I'll just let it ride.
All right, let it ride.
What could go wrong?
It's not your money.
Are you putting extra money on it?
No. I was actually thinking about opening up a Trader's Launch account just for the bet picks, just to throw somebody on it and see how it does.
I do have money in American Express, just so everyone knows.
Okay. Let's get a random.
So bid it up.
There you go.
No, sorry.
That's going to be difficult for our audience.
Yeah.
Now, if you pick something that runs off the Krona, then maybe we have a better shot. Let's see. I need a dice roller. Let's see. We have even and one. So that's a NASDAQ and healthcare. Are you familiar with SNDX?
Oh, sorry. Can you repeat that?
SNDX. Syndax Pharmaceuticals.
No, I'm not. Doesn't look very very happy.
It doesn't. It's looking kind of bouncy.
Yeah, it's nice doji.
Yeah. Random sometimes picks some of these that you don't expect to run and then find out tomorrow they cured cancer.
It's literally a cancer company. So.
Right. God damn it. Yeah, random pick some good ones. All right, Anthony. I think we did it, man. I think we made a show.
You made it through with me. Thank you.
You made it through with me. I think you filled in amicably. And in fact, I'll even let you sit on Dan's chair if you want to wrap up and say goodbye to everybody.
Oh wow, you put me on the spot now.
tell us where the audience can find you if they want to check out more of your stuff, all that good stuff.
Yep, sure thing. So yeah, What the Finance. So it's spelled like WT Finance. It's a bit of a weird one, but on YouTube and all other podcast platforms. And yeah, I'm also on Twitter, but it's not YouTube's probably the best place to find me. No one cares about Twitter. My Twitter.
Yeah, it's not even Twitter anymore either. It's X.
Oh yeah, X. Yeah, you don't tweet, you repost.
You post. I know. It blew my mind the first time I saw that. Like, oh, this change.
Yeah, what the hell's happening? But yeah, we're sort of more macro, but
a lot of good stuff on there. Been friends with Anthony here for the last couple of years. Love your show. Make sure we got links in there if anybody wants to check it out in the episode description. But yeah, I think that's going to do it. So I'm going to wrap this up here. Say goodbye. You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. And on the way out, we ask you to slap that 5-star rating like it's the tap out button on the Australian version of Alone, and take care.
Are you saying like that like domestic violence down there? Or
No. Alone.
Like punching kangaroos or...
Alone's a survival show. It's we found the Australian version not too long ago, and since the US one's already ran out, we've been watching that. But like in the first 3 days, like 6 people have already tapped out.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
I thought it was like Home Alone for some reason.
No. Is there an Aussie version of Home Alone?
No. So I was like, I'm trying to think like that would be really annoying.
I think if our bet pick does terribly, you might have to maybe do a live read of one of the scenes in there. Get the accent.
Yeah, it's just the one with Donald Trump.
Yeah. Was he in one of those?
Yeah, in pointing where the bathroom is in Trump Tower, I think.
Oh no shit! Oh god, I'm about to rewatch that now.
Two Bulls in a China Shop is an entertainment program, and all thoughts and opinions expressed in the show belong to the hosts and not of any company. They are not intended to provide specific advice or recommendations for any individual or on any specific security or investment product. It is only intended to provide entertainment about stocks and the financial industry of trading. If you make trades based on what you hear in this show, you assume all risks for those trades.